Good morning. Hopefully you're okay. I would like to remind you we are recording our lecture, so let's start please immediately. But at first I would like to remind you that the next Monday here in the Czech Republic is the state holiday, is the Easter holiday, so we will have not our lecture. So the next lecture will be on the 20th of April. So I will put it into the calendar. So the next Monday there will be no lecture of the international economics because of the state holiday. Okay. So let's continue to our topic. Where is it? So I am sharing with you a little bit repetition. You can see what we have talked about in the previous lectures. So I would like to remind you our topic was the nominal exchange rate. If you remember it, we have talked about the currency market, who is there the demand, who is the supply, that there are importers, exporters, so generally traders, investors, and also central banks, right? We have talked about depreciation, appreciation, and their influence on the exports and imports of the economies. So then we have deeply discussed some operations on these markets, on the currency market. That means what about importers, exporters, direct investments, inflows, outflows, arbitrage, and speculative operations. We have talked about spot and forward trade and hedging. And the last thing we have talked about, there are different exchange rate regimes. You remember it, that each country can choose which exchange rate regimes it wants. And then it's necessary to hold this commitment. For example, the Czech Republic, and the important information for you as for the final test especially, is using the managed floating. That means that the exchange rate is floating, but the central bank can enter the currency market and influence the currency. I have told you that the last time it happened after the year 2013, when the Czech Central Bank depreciated Czech currency from 25 to 27 or 28 Czech crowns for €1. So there are these exchange rate interventions, and we have also talked about that by means of buying or selling bonds, it's possible to influence the exchange rate. So this is repetition what we have talked about. I would like to remind you once more, we have talked about the nominal exchange rate, but today we start the new topic, theories of the exchange rate. Theories of the exchange rate. Because, you know, €1, 25 Czech crowns. It can change 24, 26. But there is a question, why it's not €1 for 100 Czech crowns? Why it's not 1 Czech crown? What's behind? What's behind the nominal exchange rate. There must be something deep, something concerning the state of the whole economy, right? So let's start with the first theory. This is the first point, purchasing power parity theory, purchasing power parity theory. And this purchasing power parity theory shows the long-term tendency in the exchange rate. The long-term tendency in the exchange rate. At the same time, it's the oldest theory, the long-term tendency in the exchange rate. And at first, let's start with the assumptions of this theory. The assumptions of this theory. So the first assumption: zero transport costs. Zero transport costs. So we don't take into account transport costs. The second assumption is zero information costs. Zero information costs. The next assumption: no barriers to trade. That means no protectionism. No barriers to trade. No protectionism. And homogeneous goods. Homogeneous goods. That means if you say car, it's always the same car. If I tell you these assumptions, you know in the reality they are not valid. But still it's the theory, so it's necessary to assume all of them to be able to show what stands behind the nominal exchange rate. So let's start with the purchasing power theory. I will share with you painting because I would like to write. So there is the purchasing power theory, and you know it's based on the one price law. That means that if you take the price of some product abroad, for F means foreign, times exchange rate, you will get the domestic price. At this point, I would like to tell you ED over F means domestic currency over foreign currency. This is the exchange rate, domestic over foreign currency. So that at the same time means that I forgot to write here I because I mean the concrete product, the price of some product. I times the nominal exchange rate, and you will get the price of the same product in the domestic economy. So you can say that the price of this product over the price of this product, domestic over foreign price of this product, and you will get the exchange rate, domestic over foreign currency. If I will erase this I, and I will talk about the whole domestic and foreign price level, I have got the absolute version of the PPP theory, purchasing power theory. So I have erased I, that means the concrete product, and I am talking about the domestic and foreign price levels. Domestic and foreign price levels. And I get the absolute version of the PPP theory. I will get some concrete number. I will get the value. Absolute version is the value of the exchange rate. Value of the exchange rate. Some concrete number, 30, 25 Czech crowns, and so on. We will have one example so you will understand it perfectly, but at the first time I would like to tell the basic knowledge about what's the price level, what is the purchasing power, and so on. So let's start with the domestic price level. So what's the domestic price level or foreign price level? Generally the price level. It is the weighted means the weighted mean of prices of goods and services in the typical consumer baskets. So it's the weighted mean of prices, the weighted mean of prices of goods and services in the typical consumer basket, So once more, the price level, generally domestic or foreign, is the same. It's the weighted mean of prices of goods and services which are in the typical consumer basket. So the second point I would like to stress is the purchasing power. What is it? Purchasing power. So purchasing power is the quantity of goods and services. Purchasing power is the quantity of goods and services which you can buy for the currency. The quantity of goods and services which you can buy for the currency. And now purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity. What's the word parity? That means that the internal and external purchasing power of the currency are equal. So internal and external purchasing power are equal. So once more, at first, what's the price level in the economy? Is the weighted mean of prices of goods and services in the typical consumer basket at home and abroad. Purchasing power is the quantity of goods and services you can buy for the currency. And the PP, purchasing power parity, is means that the internal and external purchasing powers are equal. So now we have the theory, and I would like to show you one very important example, and you will understand everything. So let's start, and then everything will be clear. So imagine that the typical domestic basket in the Czech Republic, the typical domestic basket is for 3,000 Czech crowns. There is some food, some housing, some culture, some transport. All these goods and services what typically the Czech citizens buy. So the statistical authorities counted the typical Czech basket, the typical domestic basket is for 3,000 Czech crowns. Imagine that the typical British basket is for 100 Great Britain pounds. So, and now there is the first task. What is the exchange rate in the PPP, in the purchasing power part? So it's very easy. Please write that the exchange rate in the PPP is PD over EPF. I would like you to correct in the previous theory. I forgot to write 3 PPP price. Write it. Please write it now. It's necessary. This is the theory to write there 3 PPP. So please correct it. And now we have the concrete example here. So that means 3,000 over 100 Great Britain pound. It's very easy. It's 30,000 Czech crowns over 1 Great Britain pound. So this is the exchange rate in the PPP. Oh, sorry, domestic over foreign, domestic over foreign, domestic over foreign, it's 30. What does it mean? That means in the numerator, I have one Czech basket, and the denominator, I have one British basket. So, once more, the first task in this exercise is fix the exchange rate in the PPP, in the purchasing power part. So, it's very easy if you know the information that one Czech basket is for 3,000 Czech crowns, one British basket is for 100. So it's very easy. 3,000 divided by 100, 30 Czech crown for 1 Great Britain pound. So, and now, what does it mean? So you can see that it's one basket for one basket. Now the internal and external purchasing power are equal. You can see it, one basket, one basket. I can buy one Czech basket, that's internal purchasing power, or I can buy one foreign basket. In other words, you can say for 3,000 Czech crowns, you can buy the same quantity of goods and services as for 100 Great Britain pounds. That means one basket, or divided by 100, It means that for 30 Czech crowns, you can buy the same quantity of goods and services as for 1 Great Britain pound. This is one basket, right? So this exchange rate in the PPP, this is the definition of the theorem, means, and please write it, that the exchange rate in the PPP is the ratio of the domestic and foreign price level. Is the ratio of the domestic and foreign price level. So, and now we know the theoretical level of the exchange rate. That's the theoretical level. That's what's behind the nominal exchange rate, for example. So, and now, have a look what happens now. So, I know this information that this exchange rate in the PPP is 30. You know, sorry, it's 30 Czech crowns for 1 Great Britain pound. It's 3,000 Czech crowns over 100. That's the price of 1 Czech basket over 1 British basket, right? So there is the purchasing power part, 1 basket. And now imagine there is in the market the nominal exchange rate that's in the currency market is 40 Czech crowns for 1 Great Britain bank. So once more, the exchange rate in the PPP is the theoretical level according to the purchasing power parity theory. But in the reality, you go to the bank, for example, and you see the nominal exchange rate is 40 Czech crowns for 1 Great Britain pound. What does it mean as for the purchasing powers? So imagine I'm the Czech citizen and I go to the bank. I have 3,000 Czech crowns, and in bank I will not get the exchange rate in the PPP. I will get the exchange rate, the nominal exchange rate. So for 3,000 Czech crowns, I can exchange 3,000 over 40, only 75 Great Britain pounds, right? So if I go to the bank as a Czech citizen, for 3,000 Czech crowns, I get only 75 Great Britain pounds. So you can see that for 3,000 Czech crowns, I can buy the whole 1 Czech basket, but for 75 euros, because you know, pounds, you know, the typical basket, 1 basket in Britain is for 100. So for 75 Great Britain pounds, I can buy only 3/4 of the typical British basket. So once more, the whole British basket is for 100. So for 75, I will get only 3/4. Now definitely you can see that 1 is more than 3/4. So you can see that the internal purchasing power is higher than external purchasing power. Internal purchasing power is higher than external purchasing power. So in this case, I can buy more at home than abroad. And in this case, I say that the Czech currency is undervalued in comparison with the parity. So the Czech currency is undervalued. What does it mean? It means, if you see it here, that the exchange rate in the purchasing power parity, it's 30, but at the same time, I can see that 1 Czech crown is for 0.0333 Great Britain pounds. The nominal exchange rate is 40. That means in the market. So that means 1 Czech crown is for 0.0250. So you can see in the market the Czech crown is cheaper than it should be according to it what you can buy for it. Once more, according to it what you can buy for the currency, 1 Czech crown is for 0.0333 pounds. According to the market, it's only 0.0250. That means in the market, for example, because of demand and supply, the Czech crowns, because of demand and supply, so there is what you can buy, and this is according to the demand and supply for the Czech currency, right? So you can see that Czech crown in the market is cheaper. It's undervalued in the relation to it what you can buy for it, right? So once more, we are talking about the exchange rate in the PPP. So the exchange rate in the PPP is 30, and the exchange rate in the market, the nominal exchange rate is 40. I repeat, as a Czech citizen under these conditions, I can buy them at home 1 Czech basket, but abroad I can buy only 3/4 3 quarters. And now have a look from the view of the British citizen. Imagine I am the British citizen. I have 100 Great Britain pounds. I go again to the bank and I will get the nominal exchange rate in the bank. So for 100 Great Britain pound, they will exchange me 4,000 Czech crowns, the nominal exchange rate. So as a British citizen, I can buy for 100 Great Britain pounds 1 British basket, but in the Czech Republic, I can buy the whole Czech plus 1/3, so that means 4/3 Czech baskets. Now you can see definitely that 4/3 is more than 1. And from the view of the British citizen, the external purchasing power of the Great Britain pound is higher than internal. I can buy more abroad than at home. I can buy more at home, more abroad than at home, from the view of the British citizen. So at this point, we say that the Great Britain pound is overvalued. Great Britain pound is overvalued in the comparison. So nominally, Great Britain pound is overvalued in the comparison with the exchange rate in the PPP. Overvalued in comparison with the PPP. In the market, the British pound is too expensive. It's again according to the supply and demand for the Great Britain pound. But what you can buy, it's overvalued in the market. You cannot buy so much for it as you might pay in the market, but it's according to the supply and demand for the Great Britain pound in the market. So maybe you understand the difference between the exchange rate in the PPP and the exchange rate in the market. And please, let's go to the next point. So, and please write that we measure differences between the nominal exchange rate, and the exchange rate in the PPP. There are the differences between nominal exchange rate and the exchange rate in the PPP by means of the three next our topics. That means by means of the real exchange rate. This is the first one. And please write these two abbreviations. We will talk about it, but it's the abbreviation of something. The exchange rate deviation index, CPL. I will explain it further. Just now write please these abbreviations. We will talk about it in a minute. So, and let's start now with the real exchange rate. What's the real exchange rate? So, we will start with the formula with the real exchange rate, and it's the nominal exchange rate times foreign price level over the domestic price level. So this is the nominal exchange rate times foreign price level over domestic price level. Maybe it would be clearer for you if I will write it here like this. That means you multiply the price of the typical foreign basket by the nominal exchange rate and over the price of the typical domestic basket. So I will tell you what the real exchange rate, the definition. What does it say? Please write it. What the real exchange rate says.
Excuse me, can I just ask a quick question? Real exchange rate is nominal exchange rate times price level of foreign divided by price level of domestic?
Yes.
So, okay, thank you.
Welcome. So what does it mean? And then we will do some exercises. Please write. Real exchange rate says how many domestic baskets buy one foreign basket. How many domestic baskets buy one foreign basket? So how many domestic baskets buy one foreign basket? For you to understand it better, let's use our exercise. So we have done it that the nominal exchange rate, that means the nominal is in the market exchange rate, is 40 times 100 Great Britain pound. What was the price of one British basket? Over 3,000, that was the price of the typical Czech basket, and you see that the real exchange rate in this case was 4/3. Real exchange rate is 4/3. That means, I will write it here, that 4/3 Czech basket can buy one British basket. Or you can say, if you divide it by 4/3, that one Czech basket can buy 3/4 British basket. Divided by 4/3, both sides.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I can only see the presentation. I can't see what you're writing.
Ah, sorry. Thank you. I forgot. So, sorry. So, let's please write it. I repeat, we are talking about the definition of the real exchange rate. So, that says how many domestic baskets can buy one foreign basket. And we have used the example from the previous time that the nominal exchange rate is 40, the typical British basket 100, and typical domestic basket 3,000. So that means the real exchange rate is 4/3. So what information is the real exchange rate? In this concrete case, you can see that 4/3 Czech baskets can buy one foreign basket. Or this is the same, but sometimes students understand it better. If you divide both sides by 4/3, that at the same time means that one Czech basket is 4/3 British basket. If you like more the first line or the second line, in both cases you see that the internal purchasing power is higher than external. So at home I can buy more. Internal purchasing power is higher than external purchasing power from the view of the Czech crown, of the domestic currency. Right? And now please go to the situation that there will be the change in the real exchange rate from 4/3, there was the change to 2. There increased, the real exchange rate increased from 4/3 to 2. What happened? So what does it mean, this number 2? That means that 2 Czech baskets can buy one foreign British basket, or one Czech basket can buy only the half of the British basket. Maybe in the second line you perfectly see that when the real exchange rate was 4/3, for one Czech basket you could buy abroad 3/4. And now the quantity of goods and services decreased to only 1/2. At first 3/4, 3/4, now 1/2. What does it mean? We can call this situation the real depreciation. The real depreciation of the currency. The real depreciation of the currency you can buy now less. This is the real, the word real means what you can buy. And this is the real depreciation. You could buy 3/4. Now you can buy only 1/2 of the British basket. So this is the first change from 4/3. Let's go to the second change. So the basic number of the real exchange rate was 4/3. And now there will be the change, for example, to 4/5. There will be the change from 4/3 to the real exchange rate is now 4/5. What does it mean? That means that 4/5, 0.8 Czech baskets can buy one British basket. If you divide both sides by 4/5, one Czech basket can buy 5/4 British baskets. That means in comparison with the first case, I have erased it, and there was the situation one Czech basket could buy 3/4 British basket. So you can see this change now. At first 3/4, now it's 5/4. So everybody sees that now you can buy more abroad. You could buy 3/4, not the whole one British basket. Now you can buy more than one British basket. So this is the real appreciation of the currency. Real appreciation of the currency, right? And now please, real appreciation. Now we know what's the real appreciation and what the real depreciation. Please, you must distinguish between the nominal and depreciation and appreciation. Nominal means in the currency market that you don't pay for 1 Czech crown 1 euro 25 Czech crown, but you pay 28. It's nominal depreciation. But if we talk about baskets, that's the real depreciation and appreciation, right? So, and I would like to use these here. We will talk about the factors which influence this real exchange rate. So, factors which influence this real exchange rate. These factors are 3, and they are here in the formula. You can see it. So it's the nominal exchange rate, is the domestic and foreign price level. I always use here one very easy exercise for you to understand the situation. We will simplify the consumer basket to only one product. I always use 1 liter milk, 1 liter of milk, and I take the domestic price of this milk, 12.5 Czech crowns, is the price of the typical Czech basket. And in Germany, the price of this basket for me is 1 euro. 1 liter of milk is for 1 euro. And let's start with the basic situation. The nominal exchange rate in the market is 25 Czech crowns for 1 euro. This is the basic situation. And now the first task is to set What's the real exchange rate? What's the real exchange rate? It's very easy to say. You can use the formula. So 25 times 1 over 12.5, you can see it's 2, right? So in this concrete case, we have simplified the consumer basket to only one product for you to imagine it very easy. So now the real exchange rate is 2. That means in the Czech Republic, I can buy 2 liters milk, and these 2 liters would buy in Germany 1 liter. So in the Czech Republic, I can buy 2 liters, and these 2 liters would buy abroad only 1 liter. So in other words, 1 liter in the Czech Republic, and in Germany it's only a half a liter divided by 2. So you can see that the internal purchasing power is higher than external in this case. Internal purchasing power is 1 liter, abroad it's half a liter. And now we will exchange the first factor. Other things equal, that means prices will stay the same, and I will assume that there will be very strong nominal appreciation. I do it very strong for you to see perfectly what happened. So if you don't know anything about the real exchange rate, I will tell you now the Czech crown depreciated, so you know that if you will go to the bank and you will get less euros and you will buy less products in Germany. Once more, if the Czech crown nominally depreciates, you understand without any formulas that for 1 Czech crown you will get less euros, and for less euros, other things equal, you buy less products. So let's go. So what's the real exchange rate in this case? The real exchange rate is 50 times 1 over 12.5. It's 4. You can see there is the change from to 4 is the real depreciation, because in this case, in the Czech Republic, 4 liters, in Germany by 1 liter, or 1 liter now buys only 1/4. So you can see I can buy less. I could buy half a liter, and now I can buy 1/4. It's real depreciation. You can see it here. So imagine what happened. I will take price of the typical Czech basket, 12.5. I go to bank, and for 12.5, I will get only 1/4, 1/4 of euro. And for 1/4 of euro, I get only 1/4 of the liter, right? So now real depreciation happened because the Czech crown depreciated nominally. That means for 1 Czech crown, I get less euros that I can buy less, other things equal. So let's go to the second change. Let's now, there is the increase in the foreign price level. It's very easy to understand for you. If in Germany prices increased, I can buy less. normal, other things equal. So our exercises again to fix was the real exchange rate. So now it's 25 times 2 over 12.5 and the result is the same. It's again 4. So I will not write it again, but you see it's the same situation. At this point, I took 12.5 Czech crowns. I went to the bank and for it I got half a euro. True, 12.5, I got half a euro. For half a euro, because they increased the price of milk, I can buy only 1/4 of liter. So again, real depreciation happened. And in the last point, let's go to the last change. Now, other things equal, there will be increase in the domestic price level. So now 1 liter of milk will be for 25 in the Czech Republic. At first, let's start to think of the situation. Now, the price of the typical Czech basket is higher. For 25 Czech crowns, I will get definitely in the bank more euros, and for more euros, I can buy more milk. So what's the real exchange rate now? It's 25 times 1 over 25. And you can see there is the change to 1. So in the basic situation, I could buy, the real exchange rate was 2. Now the real exchange rate is 1. What does it mean? It means that in the Czech Republic, I can buy 1 liter milk, and in Germany also 1 liter milk. So 1 liter buys 1 liter. So if you compare it with the basic situation, there is the increase. For 1 liter, I could buy only half a liter. Now I can buy 1 liter. So the situation is the real appreciation of the domestic currency. Real appreciation of the domestic currency. You can see now I can buy more products and services, right? So you can see these 3 factors which influence the real exchange rate, right? It's very easy to understand it. Why? If you remember these exercises, is the changes in the price levels, domestic or foreign, and the nominal exchange rate change. So let's go to the conclusion. Do you have
Excuse me, can I just
ask?
Yes. Number 1, it's real depreciation. Number 3, it's real appreciation. And number 2, what would that be?
Now, number 2 is the same with the number 1. It's also real depreciation, right?
All right, thank you.
The number is the same, right? Real depreciation, 4. So there was the change from 2 to 4. And in the last case, there was the change to 1. Right, thank you for your question. And now let's go, please, to the conclusion. What's the real depreciation? What does it mean for the economy? The real depreciation. So I will repeat here again. Oh, sorry. So real depreciation, and I will write here the formula for you to see it perfectly. So let's start, please, with the definition. So real depreciation means, please write that the number is increasing, right? For example, from 2, there was the increase to 4. The number is quantitatively increasing. The number of the real exchange rate is quantitatively increasing. The number of the real exchange rate is quantitatively increasing. The second point is important, that the internal purchasing power and the relation to the external purchasing power is increasing. Right? The internal purchasing power and the relation to the external purchasing power is increasing. And the last point, what I would like you to know, or to explain it here, you remember, if the real exchange rate was 2, you could buy for 1 Czech basket only half German basket. If it is 4, you can buy for 1 Czech only 1/4. So you can see that the internal purchasing power is increasing, or you can express it in another way, that 2 Czech basket buy 1 German, and now you perfectly see that the internal purchasing power is increasing to the external purchasing power. You can buy more and more at home in comparison with the possibility to buy abroad. So, and now, I like arrows, so tell me what's happening, or tell me, I would tell you in the class. So, imagine if we put that there is the constant domestic and constant foreign price level, you can understand when the currency is really depreciating. For example, if it is nominally depreciating, you can see it here. It was the case with 25 changed to 50 for 1 euro. You could see if the currency is nominally depreciating, that at the same time it's also really depreciating. I can buy less abroad for the currency. The second possibility is that if we will have as constant the nominal exchange rate and the domestic currency, when will be the real depreciation? It will be when the prices abroad are increasing. That means foreign currency level is increasing. Foreign price level is increasing. What does it mean? You could see the change in price of milk. If the milk is more expensive abroad, then other things equal, I can buy less. The last point is that if there would be the constant foreign price level, nominal exchange rate, but imagine that prices in the Czech Republic would decrease to 2 Czech crowns, for example, for 1 milk, 2 Czech crowns. So for 2 Czech crowns, I could get in the bank only 0.00, I don't know how many euros, and I could buy less milk abroad for 2 Czech crowns. At this point, it reminds me of it that in the Czechoslovakia, we were together with Slovakia. I remember during communism, the price of 1 liter milk was really 2 Czechoslovak crowns at the time. And I remember after the Velvet Revolution here 30 years ago, that real exchange rate to, at that time there was not euro, but German mark was only was 4.25. That means, what does it mean for a Czech citizen? It was very expensive to buy something in Germany, for example, because at home I could buy the whole basket and abroad only 1/4. So the internal purchasing power was much higher than abroad. Okay?
Could you repeat the last 3 points, please?
The last 3 points?
Yeah, with the
arrows?
arrows. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Let's repeat it again. So we are talking about it. What can cause real depreciation? What can cause the real depreciation? I would like you to remember of the case of milk. So what can cause real depreciation of the currency? So that there will be the change from, for example, 2 to 4. There is the increase of the real exchange rate. So you can, from us, you know that this number is increasing when, for example, this number is increasing. What does it mean? If the currency depreciates nominally, that means from 25 to 50, for example, the currency is depreciating nominally in the market according to the demand and supply. So then for 1 Czech crown you will get less euros, and for less euros you can buy less products abroad. That's real depreciation. Or the second case, that their price abroad increased. If there is increase in the price of milk in Germany, other things equal, I can buy less there. So it's again real depreciation. And the last point is that if prices would go down in the Czech Republic to 2 Czech crowns for 1 liter milk. So for 2 Czech crowns, I would get in the bank very small amount, very small quantity of euros, and I could buy less products abroad. That's again real depreciation. So I would like you to write the last point to the real depreciation, that there is the increase in the competitiveness of domestic companies. I will explain it. There is the decrease in the competitiveness, increase in the competitiveness of the domestic firms. Increase in the competitiveness of the domestic firms, of Czech exports, of domestic exports, our exports. Why? Why, if the currency is really depreciating, it helps to domestic exporters. So it's very easy, by means of my lines, you can understand it. So let's start with the last situation. If there is decrease in domestic prices, you will definitely understand that we will export more because our prices are going down, so our goods and services are relatively cheaper now. We will export more, right? Also, the second situation is very clear, because if the prices in Germany will go up, will be more expensive, their goods and services will be more expensive. Our goods and services, other things equal, are now more competitive. It's relatively cheaper. So we will export more. We will export more. The last point is the nominal depreciation. I would like you to remind of my table from the previous lecture. You remember we have talked about the changes of our exports on imports if there was the nominal depreciation of our appreciation, and I have showed you if the currency nominally depreciates, that means that your goods and services are cheaper abroad and you will export more. I would like you to remember that these changes, that means these changes can go together. It can happen at the same time, everything, right? It can go together. I always tell you about the situation of the Czech economy. So you know that after the Velvet Revolution 30 years ago, there was 4.25 real exchange rate in comparison with German. But I have told you at the same time there was the nominal appreciation, and also prices in the Czech Republic went up. Right now the milk is not for 2, it's for 20 or maybe more. So that means that there were increasing prices, and at the same time there was nominal appreciation, and that was the reason why the real exchange rate is now decreasing. So let's go to the second conclusion as the real appreciation, what I have now talked about. Real appreciation, and again let's repeat it here by means of the formula and arrows. What's the real appreciation? That means that the number there is decreasing, right? From 2 there was a decrease in our exercise, for example, to 1, decrease from 2 to 1. Now you can say that the external purchasing power is increasing in comparison with the internal purchasing power. External purchasing power is increasing in comparison to the external purchasing power. If you take this exercise, if the real exchange rate was 2, that means that for 1 Czech basket you could buy 1/2 of the German, and now for 1 Czech, if it is 1, I can buy 1 German. So you can see that the external purchasing power increased. So when does it come? When it comes to real appreciation, that the real exchange rate, the number is going down. So the first possibility is that the currency is nominally appreciating. Sorry, I try to use this number. Oh, I cannot use numbers now. What happened? Oh, I'm sorry. Now will be everything probably black, green. So everything will be green. It's not possible to put there. I don't know why. So that means that domestic price level and foreign price level will be constant. So it means, you can see it, that if the currency is nominally appreciating in the market, That means for 1 Czech crown you will get more euros in bank. So, and you can buy more goods and services. The next situation is that there will be again nominal appreciation, but now we will have constant nominal exchange rate and domestic price level. And if prices abroad will go down, you can again see I can buy more. If prices are abroad decreasing, it's clear you can buy more. And the last exercise, it was the situation in the increase of domestic prices. You could see that you could have seen that if price of milk increased to 25, you could buy for 25 more euros, and then you can buy more goods and services. It's also real appreciation. Please write that real appreciation means decrease in the competitiveness, decrease in competitiveness of domestic exporters, decrease in competitiveness of domestic exporters. Why? It's very easy to understand again. Look, if domestic prices are going up, there is decrease in competitiveness. If abroad goods and services are cheaper, then our goods and services are relatively more expensive and we will export less. And also, if the currency is nominally appreciating, that means you remember of my table where we have the nominal appreciation of the currency from 25 to 24, you can export. Your situation is worse because your exports are more expensive, if you remember it. Right? So let's go to the second point. I have talked about the situation that I share now with you again back the slide that the real exchange rate we have talked about now. I would like to remind you that we are talking about the indicators which measure differences between nominal and the exchange rate in the PPP. So let's go to the second indicator, exchange rate deviation index. So let's go to the exchange rate deviation index. I share here with you again the board. So exchange rate deviation index, and you hear it in the name of this indicator, exchange rate deviation index. So how we measure the exchange rate deviation index? So this is the formula for this exchange rate deviation index, and you see that in the numerator you have the nominal exchange rate, and in the denominator, you have the exchange rate in the PPP. And I would like to continue, if you remember from the beginning of our lecture, the absolute version of the PPP. It was this formula. This is the absolute version of the PPP. So now you can see that exchange rate, real exchange rate, equals this exchange rate deviation index. So maybe you can ask why we have two indicators if if they are equal. So it's because there is different interpretation. So we are saying that exchange rate deviation index measures the deviation between the nominal exchange rate and PPP exchange rate. On the other hand, the real exchange rate, it was the interpretation as for the baskets. You remember it. We will exercise it in our seminar. And the last one I would like to talk about is the CPL. CPL is the comparative price level. And the comparative price level is the reciprocal value of the exchange rate deviation index. So this is the definition of the CPL. This is the reciprocal value of this. So, and now please, I would like to do the conclusion. So, what you should know as economists about all of these real exchange rate deviation index, and comparative price level. It's important always the comparison with number one. So, let's imagine the situation that real exchange rate equals 1. At this point, you know, I am writing here this then you must know that also RD equals 1, and at the same time reciprocal value equals 1. When is it? When exchange rate deviation index equals 1. If nominal exchange rate, I have written here this formula, equals just the exchange rate and the PPP. At this point, you can also say that internal purchasing power, one Czech basket or one German basket, can buy internal purchasing power equals the external purchasing power. This is the situation when the nominal exchange rate, I repeat it, in the market is equal with the exchange rate in the purchasing power parity according to the ratio of price levels. Right? This is the first situation. It's not so usual.
Sorry, could you please repeat that?
Yeah. In the first situation, that means that the nominal exchange rate, that means the exchange rate in the market, equals the exchange rate in the PPP. That means the exchange rate, this is the theoretical level of the exchange rate according to the ratio of price levels. Right? It's not very usual, but at this point we could say now internal purchasing power just equals the external purchasing power. One basket for one basket. It's not so usual. More usual, it doesn't equal. Let's take the first situation. If the real exchange rate is more than 1, at this point, exchange rate deviation index must be also more than 1. And if the reciprocal value must be less than 1. So have a look at the exchange rate deviation index formula here. What does it mean? When is it more than 1? It's when the numerator, that means nominal exchange rate, is higher than denominator, right? In this fraction, the numerator is higher than the numerator. You remember my case that I had the nominal exchange rate 40 Czech crowns, but the exchange rate in the PPP was only 30. From the view of the Czech crowns, we can say that the internal purchasing power is higher than external purchasing power. Internal purchasing power is higher than external purchasing power. Right? And under this situation, I would say that domestic currency is undervalued. Domestic currency is undervalued nominally in comparison with the PPP. It's undervalued nominally in comparison with the PPP. I would like to remind you that means that in the market for 1 Czech crown you will get only 0.0250 pounds, and according to what you can buy, it's more, so it's 0.0333. So in the market the Czech crown is very cheap, 0.025 doesn't respond to the situation what you can buy. Let's go to the final situation. That means that the real exchange rate is less than 1, RD must be less than 1, and CPL must be more than 1. What does it mean? So from the formula of the exchange rate deviation index, you can see this is the situation if the nominal exchange rate is less than the exchange rate in the PPP. At this point, external purchasing power is higher than internal. And you remember from my exercise, it was the situation of the British citizen. At home, he could buy one British basket. Abroad, he could buy in the Czech Republic 4/3. So he could buy much more. So at this point, the British pound or foreign currency was overvalued in comparison, so nominally overvalued in comparison with the PPP. Overvalued in comparison with the PPP. So, the final point I would like to talk about is the relative version of the PPP. Have a look, you can watch it here. Now we were talking about the absolute version. You can see it here in the bracket of the purchasing power parity. So the absolute version was the ratio of the price levels. And now let's go to the relative version of the PPP. You can see it here in the relative version. So I will share with you again the board with you. The relative version we sometimes call weaker version, because it doesn't say what's the value, that says the absolute version. It only says what will be the change, in the exchange rate. What will be the change in the exchange rate? So, what will be the change in the time t plus 1 in comparison with the time t? And it's pi t minus pi f. This is the relative version of the PPP. It's pi 1 pi d minus pi f, and this is the change of the exchange rate, and this change equals pi d is the inflation rate domestic, pi f is the inflation rate abroad, foreign, and this is the inflation rate differential, the inflation rate differential. So I will finish here our lecture and we will start exercise and seminar. I will finish this inflation rate differential and so on, some exercises, and we will continue. So we will hear each other in 15 minutes or in the second seminar. So thank you for your attention for now. So let's start our seminar, please. At first, I would like to finish what we have talked about at the end of our lecture. So you are watching, I'm sharing with you the whiteboard, and you can see the relative version of the purchasing power parity, which doesn't say the value of the exchange rate. It only says what will be the change of the exchange rate. And you can see it here that imagine that the domestic inflation rate is 4% and the foreign exchange rate is inflation rate, sorry, domestic and foreign inflation rate. So what you expect, so the inflation rate differential is 2%. So you would expect, according to this definition, you would expect depreciation of the domestic currency by 2%, right? Depreciation by 2%, right? If it would be an opposite situation, that domestic inflation rate, the change of the would be 3% and foreign exchange rate would be 4%, then you would expect appreciation of the domestic currency by 1%. So decrease in the value by 1%. Minus 1, decrease, appreciation. So if we will take, for example, exercise, let's start in the time t. This is the time t. Exchange rate 20 Czech crowns for $1 and PD is 4%, PF is 2%. According to the theory, you should expect depreciation of the domestic currency by 2%. That means the exchange rate in the time t plus 1, this is the exchange rate in the time t plus 1, is depreciated by 2%. That means it would be 20.4 Czech crowns for $1. We will exercise it again during our seminar. So now I would like to start our seminar. Please open the document. The name is the exchange rate. The exchange rate. We have to work with this document the last time. So the document, the exchange rate. And at first, I would like to start with exercises of these numbers. These exercises are exercising the exchange rate regimes. It was from the last lecture. That means the exchange rate regimes. It exercises exchange rate interventions. So please start with these exercises. And then we will check it again together. So the material, the name is the exchange rate. You can start working and then we will check it again. So now we are exercising I would like to remind you what we have talked about, the exchange rate interventions. So you can work, and then we will. So let's check number 7. I will read it and you can ask if the exchange rate of the domestic currency against the foreign currency will depreciate and the central bank will decide to intervene. So this is the situation. Up you can see it, that the domestic currency is depreciating, and there is the commitment of the central bank, or the domestic central bank, that it will stop it. For example, this case. So the domestic central bank will increase domestic money supply. It's not true. A is not true. Why? Because this situation that the domestic currency is depreciating means that in the currency market, the supply of the domestic currency is higher than demand for the domestic currency. So in the possibility A, if we will increase more domestic money supply, that would mean that the currency would depreciate even more. So A is not true. B, the domestic central bank will decrease the domestic money supply. True. So because it's necessary to stop depreciation, so you must decrease domestic money supply, decrease this, then you will stop depreciation. At the same time, you are buying in the currency market domestic currency. You must sell foreign currency from reserves. So at this point, your reserves are also decreasing. That means that also D is true. B, D, the foreign currency will decrease in the domestic country. Right? Let's go to number 10. In which regimes of the exchange rate interventions can occur? We have talked about it. That A, currency board, true. Currency board means that the central bank declares, I will read yellow, that there is the central parity without the oscillatory bound. What does it mean? That means that if there is the increase to 25, there must be immediately the intervention of the central bank. B, free floating. Free floating, there it's not true. There cannot be interventions because I have printed it. Free floating means that the exchange rate floats really without any intervention of the central bank. C, managed floating is true, because it's also floating, the exchange rate is floating, but if the central bank decides we would like to change the exchange rate, so the central bank can enter the currency market, right, and intervene. And fixed exchange rate with oscillatory bounds. This is the picture you can see now on the whiteboard. Okay. Let's go to number 22. So let's go to 22. Label the right claims.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So D is correct?
Yes, ACD.
Thanks.
ACD. Welcome. So, and now we are going to number 22. Label the right claims. A, the depreciation can occur in the floating exchange rate regime. True. Depreciation. B, the revaluation can occur in the floating exchange rate regime. Not true. I will explain why. if you remember the last time we have talked about that the revaluation can occur, if you see my picture, if I would change the official parity. I would declare, as a central bank, I would declare there will be from the 1st of May the change in the central parity from 25 to 20. So it's my official declaration. It's not what's happening in the market. C, the depreciation can occur in the fixed exchange rate regime with oscillatory belt. So this question is a little bit tricky. It's tricky. I will tell you because it's true and you can see it. You can see here within the oscillatory belt. Here you can see depreciation. For example, in this part. No? It's not the change of the central parity. We have oscillatory belt, and within the oscillatory belt, you can see this depreciation, or here, this depreciation. It's not the change of the central parity. It's a little bit tricky, I know. D, the revaluation can occur in the fixed exchange rate regime with oscillatory belt. True. It's this situation.
Excuse me. So
Yes.
22A and D is true. B and C is false.
A, C, D. C is also true. Yes?
Thank you.
Welcome. A, C, D. Okay. Number 25. Similar, in which exchange rate regime it's not necessary to hold foreign currency reserve. That means in the connection with interventions, right? So C is true, only C, because other possibilities, there are the forms of the fixed exchange rate, crawling peg, and currency board. Managed floating, there is the possibility of the intervention of the central bank. And to 27, if the Czech currency is strongly appreciating and the Czech central bank is deciding to intervene to stop it, what's doing? So let's have a look at my picture again. Strongly appreciating means this situation here. It's appreciating strongly. So that means the Czech crowns would like to leave the belt to go down somewhere to 20. So what should the Czech central bank? At first it's necessary all to think of it, that this situation is this situation. That means demand is higher than supply of the Czech central bank. Okay. So, and what's necessary to do? A, it is selling Czech crowns and buying foreign currency. It's true, right? Because now it's necessary that the Czech central bank would increase the supply of the domestic currency, so it must increase money supply, and at the same time in the currency market it buys, for these crowns, it buys foreign currency and puts it into the reserve. So only A is true, other possibilities are not true. So are there any?
Excuse me.
Yes. Okay.
Could you repeat the right answer of question number 7?
BD, please. BD.
Oh, okay. I'm here.
BD. 7BD. Any other questions? If not, I will write you the numbers of exercises we have done today. It's almost everything from this our material. So I will write the numbers and you will start working and then we will again check together. So you will have now just a long time.
What is the name of the document with the homework?
Exchange rate. Exchange rate. The exchange rate. You can find it in the files up in the Teams, or you can find it in the document server in the information system. In both, I put it.
Thank you.
So it's the same file, yeah?
Yes, it's the same file.
Because it seems like we have already solved the third one, the 10th one.
I think we didn't do it still.
In the previous seminar, we have solved the third exercise, I think, and the 10th exercise we have just solved.
Answer number 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will erase it. What we could do.
And the 10th as well.
Which one?
Number 10. We have just solved it.
Okay.
Hello, excuse me. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What's the difference between real depreciation and nominal depreciation?
Right. Okay. That's what we have talked about today. So at first nominal, that means in the market. So we have had €1, 25 crowns, and if there will be change to, for example, €1 to 27. This is the nominal. Nominal means in the currency market, right? And today we have talked about the real exchange rate. That means what you can buy, right? So real depreciation means that the first exercise you have, in first case, real exchange rate is 2, and real depreciations mean the increase of the value of the real exchange rate. What does it mean? That means that one check basket bought 1/2 foreign basket, and in the second situation, one check basket can buy only 1/4. You can see that the currency really depreciated. You can see it. We can buy less goods and services, only half, and only 1/4. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you very much.
Welcome. So what number are you doing just now? Tell me.
30.
30, perfect. So we are going to check. I will again tell you the correct answers you can ask as usual. So let's start with number 1. If the exchange rate of some currency is undervalued, then the internal purchasing power of this currency is higher than its external purchasing power. True. The external purchasing power of this currency is higher than its internal purchasing power. False. C. Coefficient RD is lower than 1. False. D is true. Coefficient RD is higher than 1. So A, D. A, D. Number 2. In the regime of a fixed exchange rate, A. The oscillatory belt cannot be set. False. B. The exchange rate interventions can occur. True. C. The central parity is set only by the demand and supply in the market. False. D. Devaluation and revaluations can occur. True. 2BD. BD. Number 4. The real depreciation will occur if other things equal. A. The nominal appreciation of exchange rate occurs. The nominal appreciation of exchange rate occurs. False. The nominal depreciation of exchange rate occurs. True. True. C. The same growth of the domestic and foreign price levels occurred. False. And D. the nominal appreciation and the foreign price level decrease occur at the same time. False. 5. Number 5. According to the relative version of the purchasing power parity, if the domestic inflation rate, that means pi d, is 1% and pi f is 4%, then A. The appreciation of the domestic currency against the foreign one by 4% will occur. False. B. The depreciation of the domestic currency against the foreign one by 4% will occur. False. C. The appreciation of the domestic currency against the foreign one by 3% will occur. Correct. C is correct. And D, the depreciation of the domestic currency against the foreign one by 3% will occur. False. Number 8. If the real exchange rate of the Czech currency against euro is 0.5, then A. We must give for one foreign consumer basket 2 domestic consumer baskets. False. B. For one domestic consumer basket, 2 foreign consumer baskets. True. B is true. C. The nominal exchange rate doesn't equal the exchange rate in the PPP. True. Exchange rate deviation index equals 0.5. True. B, C, D. Number 9. If I will buy one consumer basket for... Do you have a question?
Yes, please. So real exchange rate is 0.5 and the ERDI is also 0.5?
Yes, it's always the same. It's always the same.
Always the same. Okay, thank you.
Because you can remember from our lecture that exchange rate deviation index equals the nominal over the exchange rate deviation index in the PPP, and instead of the exchange rate deviation index in the PPP, we have put the definition of the exchange rate in the PPP, and you will get the formula of the real exchange rate. The number is the same, right? So let's go to number 9.
Sorry.
Yes.
Could you repeat the answer of question number 6?
6, okay. 6B.
6B, okay.
Sorry, I didn't tell it. I didn't
yeah.
tell it at all. Sorry. Sorry, I will do number 6 now because I forgot. So in the number 6, one consumer basket domestic is 5,000 Czech crowns. And one typical British basket, so foreign basket, is for 200 pounds. So, and now there is the question, the nominal exchange rate. If the nominal exchange rate is 30, it's at the same time A is the exchange rate in the PPP. Not true. According to the formula, the exchange rate in the PPP is domestic over foreign price level. What's in my case this? So this is the exchange rate in the PPP, and nominal exchange rate is 30. Right? It's in the market. This is the nominal exchange rate according to the demand and supply. Right? This is the difference. And now A, the nominal exchange rate, 30 crown, is the exchange rate in the PPP. It's not true. B, the nominal exchange rate, 1 Great Britain pound for 30 crown, is undervalued. It's true. You can see it here. 1 Czech crown is here for 0.0033. I repeat it for you to see it here. It's this case. And here it is 1 Czech crown, 0.02, sorry, 40. So you can see that in this case, according to it, what you can buy, Czech crown is more expensive. In the market, the Czech crown is very cheap. So that's why we say it's undervalued. 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 Because this number is under this number. Really what you can buy as for products and services is 0.04. According to the demand and supply in the market, the nominal exchange rate is only 0.0333. So B is true. D, if the exchange rate is 30 for 1, then the coefficient RD is less than 1. It's not true because you know that RD is nominal exchange rate over the exchange rate in the PPP, right? This is the exchange rate in the PPP. That means 30 over 25. It will be more than 1. It will be 6 over 5. 6 over 5. So D is not true. So let's go now to number 9. It's similar. So if I will buy one consumer basket at home for 60,000 Czech crowns, and one typical British basket abroad is for 2,000 Great Britain pound. So A, Czech crown is undervalued against GBP. So have a look now at this exercise. The only thing you can say from these two PDPF is what's the exchange rate in the PPP. That means domestic over foreign consumer basket. So you know the exchange rate in the PPP. Right? So look here. The first possibility A, Czech crown is undervalued against GBP. You cannot say, you don't know what's the nominal exchange rate. You cannot compare it. So you wouldn't circle. B, the Czech crown is overvalued against, you cannot say, you don't know. C, the nominal exchange rate 30 is at the same time the exchange rate in the PPP. Now you know the information that the nominal exchange rate in the market is 30 Czech crowns. And this is correct because you see at the same time it's according to the PPP what you can buy. C is correct. C. Let's go to number 12. If the coefficient RD equals 2, so A, the real exchange rate equals 0.5. Not true, because the exchange rate deviation index and the real exchange rate are the same. B is true, the real exchange rate equals. Correct. C, the exchange rate is undervalued against the PPP. It's true because you know if exchange rate deviation index is true too. At this point, you know the formula for the exchange rate deviation index. You know that the nominal exchange rate must be higher than the exchange rate in the PPP. You can see it here. Right? So at this point, the domestic currency is very cheap in the market, currency market. It's cheaper than it should be, than it would respond to the what I can buy, really. Right? It was the case in my exercise 40 Czech crowns for. It was in the first exercise in the market 40 nominally. According to what you can buy, it was only it was only 30. So,
Excuse me?
yes.
How could we know the real exchange rates, and is there any relationship between ERDI and the real exchange rate?
Once more, please. How I can know real exchange rate?
Is there any relationship between real exchange rate and the coefficient ERDI?
Exchange rate deviation index equals real exchange rate. You know it.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the information you must know. I have talked about it before. Once more, exchange rate deviation index equals nominal exchange rate over the exchange rate in the PPP. And instead of PPP, we have put there the definition of the PPP. And if you put there the definition of the PPP, you will get again the formula for real exchange rate. RD equals always the real exchange rate. You must know it. Okay. So let's go to number 12. Yeah, sorry. We have done 12, and in case of 12, B and C is true. B and C is true. Is there any questions to it again?
Excuse me, was it
Yes.
number 9 or what is it?
Sorry?
B and C is correct in which one?
B and C is correct in number 12.
Number 12, okay. Thank you.
And in 9C. 9 is C. Okay. So let's continue to number 13. Which from the following factors will cause real appreciation of the domestic currency. Real appreciation. So, I would like to remind what's real appreciation. That means that the real exchange rate was 4 and the number of the real exchange rate quantitatively decreased. This is real exchange rate appreciation, right? And have a look why. In the first situation, one check basket buys 1/4 of the foreign basket, or 4, I can write domestic baskets, buy 1 foreign basket. It's the same. Both is true. In the second case, 1 domestic basket buys 1/2 foreign baskets, or 2 domestic baskets buy 1 foreign basket. So in the first line, you see perfectly, this is real appreciation, because you can buy more for 1 domestic basket. You can buy now more than in the first situation. You could have bought only 1/4. Now you can buy 1/2 of the foreign basket. You can buy more. It's really, the Czech crown domestic currency is really appreciating. Really appreciating. Right? So, and now I will use the formula again, that the real exchange rate is the nominal exchange rate times PF over PD. And the first situation, the simultaneous decrease of the domestic and foreign price level, but the decrease of the foreign one is quicker. What does it mean? The question is, when the real exchange rate is decreasing from 4 to 2, for example. So we assume that the nominal exchange rate is the same. Both price level are decreasing, but here the decrease is higher. So A is true. 13A is true. The possibility B, the question is again, because they ask us for the real appreciation, the situation of the decrease of the quantity of the real exchange rate. That means, now, nominal exchange rate is the same, domestic price level is the same, and there is the growth of the foreign price level. It's not true. If foreign prices are going up, I cannot buy more abroad, other things equal. It wouldn't really appreciate. Let's go to the third possibility, the nominal appreciation of the domestic currency. So the question is again, if prices will be constant, will be the same, if the currency will nominally appreciate, if I really can buy more. It's true. If I will get more euros for 1 Czech crown, I can buy more abroad. So I can really buy more products abroad. True. And D, the nominal depreciation of the domestic currency. So the question is again, if the currency really depreciates, if the currency in the market is depreciating, It's not true. So if I will buy less and less euros for 1 Czech crown, it's the nominal depreciation. I get less euros for 1 Czech crown. Then I cannot buy more products. It's not true. So 13 only AC. AC. So let's go to number 16. If the inflation rate in the USA is 2, so for example, USA will be domestic currency.
I have one question.
Yes.
Could you please repeat why 13A is true?
Okay. 13A is true. Okay. So the question is for the real appreciation. Real appreciation means the decrease of the number of the real exchange rate from 4 to 2. So there will be the constant nominal exchange rate. Both price level are decreasing, domestic and foreign too. But in Germany, prices are going down more quickly. That means it's cheaper there, relatively. So I can buy relatively more there. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So let's go to number 16.
Thank you.
So welcome. So for example, USA is the domestic economy. There is, oh sorry, it's not P, it's pi. The inflation rate equals 2% in the USA, and pi F will be Great Britain. Foreign inflation rate is 3%. And the question is, according to the relative version of the PPP theory, what will happen? So we can decide what will happen. It's pi d minus pi f. It's minus 1. So we will expect appreciation of dollar against the pound by 1%. So B, 16B. So decrease in the nominal exchange rate by 1%. It will go down from, for example, 26 to 25. It's appreciation of the currency in the market, right? 16B. Number 19. If the coefficient RD equals just 1, that means that the nominal exchange rate equals the exchange rate in the PPP. They are just equal. And the question is that the real exchange rate equals 1. True. CPL equals 1. True. The nominal exchange rate equals the exchange rate in the PPP. It's also true because this number can be 1 if these two exchange rates are equal. So now the situation in the market, according to the supply and demand of the currency, so it's equal as what you can buy, 30-30, for example. And the D, PPP is broken. It's not true. It equals the nominal exchange rate equals the exchange rate in the PPP. It's not broken. The parity is not broken. A, B, C. Let's go to number 20. Which of the following factors, other things equal, will cause the real depreciation of the currency? So again, real depreciation means that the number R is increasing, the quantitatively increasing, right? This is the real depreciation. That means 2 domestic baskets could buy 1 foreign basket, or 1 domestic basket can buy 1/2. And in the second situation, 4 domestic baskets can buy 1 foreign basket, or 1 domestic basket can buy 1/4. You can see this is depreciation. I can buy less. I used to buy 1/2 and now only 1/4. It's the real depreciation. And now go to the formula back. According to the formula, the first situation, the growth of the domestic price level. The question is, if this number will increase, if the nominal exchange rate is constant, foreign price level is constant, and the growth of domestic price level will occur. It's not true. If the price of the domestic consumer basket goes up, so imagine the milk, the first price was 12.5 and then the price of milk increased to 25. So for 12.5 Czech crowns, I can buy less euros in the bank than for 25, other things equal. So if now look here, I can buy more euros in the bank. So I would buy more products abroad. So it's not true. It's not real depreciation. Right? Let's go to the second question. The growth of the foreign price level. It's true because you can imagine, other things equal, if prices in Germany, for example, go up, I can buy really less. I can buy less products. It's real depreciation. It is real depreciation. Let's go to the C. So the question is again if it is real nominal. If nominal appreciations occurs, other things equal. It's not true. It's if currency nominally appreciates, that means for 1 euro, not 25 but 24. Now for 1 Czech crown, I can get more euros. And it's not true that for more euros I would buy less. It's not true. So B is not true, but D is true. If there is the nominal depreciation from 25 to 28, for example, I will get for 1 Czech crown less euros. I will get less euros. And I can buy less. So in number 20, B and D is correct. B and D.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Could you repeat why the A is not true?
Noch einmal. Sorry, I speak German. Once more. Okay. So the growth of the domestic price level. So I will go back to our exercise with milk. In the first case, the price of milk was 12.5 Czech crowns. Okay, so I took in our exercise, there was the nominal exchange rate 25 and the price of milk abroad was €1. So, in this first point, I went to bank with the price of the domestic basket. This is the price of the domestic basket. And in bank, I put exchange for it because of the nominal exchange rate 25, half a euro. Okay? And for half a euro, I could buy half a liter. You understand? So once more, my thinking. The price of the typical Czech basket is 12.5. I go to bank and I will exchange for it under the exchange rate 25, half a euro. And for half a euro, I can buy only half a liter in Germany. This is the exercise from much. Now, the situation 28, the growth of the domestic price level. Let's have the new situation, and there is the increase in the price of the domestic basket. Other things equal. So I go again to bank, and for 25, I can exchange at the exchange rate 25, €1. And for €1, I can buy in Germany 1 liter. You can see it's real appreciation. You understand?
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. This is number 20. Let's go to number 23 now. I will take the new paper. So, number 23. The nominal exchange rate, that means in the market, right? That's 22 Czech crowns. The exchange rate, that means in the PPP, I would like to repeat, is the ratio of the price levels of the typical baskets is 15.